We're heading up to 12 minutes away from 9 o'clock. 15-year-old Njabulo Ndhlebe is being buried today. He was accidentally shot and killed by his best friend on the first day of school. We understand that Zukiso Majola was playing with his grandfather's firearm, which he had gained access to without any permission. It's also understood in a panic, Zukiso turned the gun on himself. Now, he will be buried on Thursday in the Eastern Cape. Well, let's take you to the funeral of young Njabulo. First, Masego Rahlaga at the funeral. Morning to you, Masego. And I imagine an incredibly sad day for the family while the rest of the country celebrates young pupils around South Africa.
Absolutely, Gareth, and as you can see, my colleague Njabulo giving you that shot of the casket. Here lies the lifeless body of 15-year-old Njabulo Ndhlebe, and as you explained earlier, Gareth, what we had found out from the media initially about a week ago was that one young boy had actually shot and killed Njabulo, as well as his friend Zukiso Majola, who was laid to rest in the Eastern Cape yesterday. That was the initial story that had come out, and obviously there was much reaction to it about violence at schools, pupil-on-pupil violence. But when the family released a statement on Friday evening last week, the families, that is, they actually explained exactly what you just said. So it was the first day of school. The boys, being young, decided to bunk class. Zukiso Majola, whose grandfather passed away last year, had a firearm, and he gained access to that firearm without his parents' knowledge. And unfortunately, during the time that he was trying to play with the firearm and show it off to his friends, he loaded it. And while they were playing with the firearm, it went off accidentally. And, Zukiso Ndhlebe, who's being laid to rest today, was shot in the back of his ear, and he died instantly. The third friend, who has not been named because his family has decided that it wants to protect him, ran away and didn't want to, obviously be a part of that. And in panic, Majola, who was showing off his grandfather's gun, he panicked at the community coming out, obviously at the sound of that firearm, and he decided to turn the gun on himself. So the two best friends died together at Majola's home, not far from here, in fact, Gareth. That's how close they were. And the families, the two families, very supportive, who were at the memorial service at the school they go to, Lisiba Secondary School, here in this area. And the families both saying that, they understand the other family, the Majola family, having called the Ndhlebe family to their home where the two boys lay dead. And they explained, and apparently the two mothers embraced each other and cried together about the deaths of their sons. So the two families supportive of each other. The other boy was laid to rest in the Eastern Cape yesterday, as I said, Gareth. And today, of course, we lay Njabulo Ndhlebe to rest. And as you can see, it's quite busy at the funeral. Families and the mourners are here to take a seat and be prepared for the funeral, which is expected to start at around 9 o'clock this morning.
And Masego, before I let you go as well, I imagine this is going to turn into a debate then, not just with the family, but everyone else as well, about access to firearms in residential homes and easy access, especially for young children.
Definitely, Gareth. And I mean, when we asked the family, the Majola family, about that, I think for them it was quite embarrassing. They don't know how he gained access to that gun. They don't know how. He was able to actually, gain access to it. They have no idea if he had gained access to it before. So they were very embarrassed. When I asked them that question during the memorial service about how he gained access to this firearm, that ended up taking 2 lives, including his own. But of course, I also had a debate, Gareth, last week Saturday on Newslink, on the weekend edition of Newslink, with the Department of Education, the SGB Association, as well as a teachers union, SATU, about this very complex situation. And they were saying that it's not something that only the Education Department can be responsible for. It's also society and parents who need to make sure that, dangerous weapons such as those are not easily accessible by children, especially these boys. I mean, at that age, they obviously, thought that it would be cool to show each other that there's a firearm. So that other debate is also about the fact that we should teach our children that, that is not something cool to play around with, because somebody's life, could be taken.
Some very, very sad news coming out of Itwatwa for us. Masego Rahlaga, as we begin to hear the families in mourning as they say goodbye to a little 15-year-old tragically killed. Masego Rahlaga, thank you very much indeed. I will come back to you again, I'm sure, later in the day.